Hi! Today I'm drawing Faces, Fantasy Edition. You know, as an artist, I know that what we do comes down to practice. Lots of it. And honestly, I have not practiced as much as I should have in the past 2 to 3 years. There have been periods of time where I just didn't draw or make anything for months, not even the simplest doodle or figurine. It makes me sad, but also stresses me out because I'm very aware of my shortcomings and my weaknesses. And I know that I need to become better if I want a real chance in the world, and I also just want to be better so I can draw whatever comes to my mind. So here I am. Since New Year's, I've been trying to practice as much as I can weekly, if not every day. I've settled for doing 15-minute sessions of gesture drawing, which, by the way, I think is a brilliant way to practice. It helps warm you up and build confidence, and, I've been using the Line of Action website. I'm also trying to complete a drawing or a nice sketchbook page per week, at least one. A few days ago, I decided to just take the hit, sit down and draw some faces in this sketchbook. It's always scary to go back to drawing from imagination after spending too long not doing it. I was pretty nervous to start, but once I did start drawing, the sketches just kind of drew themselves, It was scarier to get ready to do it than it was to actually do it. I had no idea what I was gonna draw. I was going in with no plan, no strategy. I was just gonna let it flow into the page by itself. This sketchbook has very thin paper. It's handmade sketchbook. One of my uncles gave to me. It's bound in brown leather. I really like it because it feels sort of like a D&D bard's journal, like it belongs in a medieval setting. The paper is really thin, so I can't work with watercolor in it or even markers, but ink would probably be interesting to try. Fun fact, actually, this is specifically my fantasy-themed sketchbook because I'm a weirdo like that. I have all my sketchbooks categorized for different uses. For example, I have a big sketchbook with white bond paper that I use only for studies. I have a sketchbook with really thin paper that I use for drawing monsters and creepy things. I have a sketchbook with really nice brown craft paper that I love to use for different mediums, so that one's more versatile and I can be more experimental with what I use it for. I have way too many notebooks and sketchbooks, honestly, like TBH. Like every other creative person, that's a sin that I commit. I try to combat that by categorizing what I use them for, so I'm equally distributing the time and work between them, and it also deters me from buying more. If you've watched some of my other videos, you've probably already noticed that I like sketching with colors. My go-tos are red and blue, because they work super well together, and if you get the right brand, the overlaid lines will blend into purple. I think it's a really good color combo, and it adds a nice warmth and depth to a sketch. I also use green sometimes, since it pretty much disappears when used with red, or it helps darken it if overlaid. I rarely use orange. I do keep some orange goulettes in my pencil case, but I very rarely use it. I think I stopped using normal graphite to sketch back in high school. I started using cyan for my sketches then and just never stopped. So now I just use 3 or 2 colors to differentiate the sketch layers. Helps keep it clean and they don't smudge like normal graphite. Okay, I didn't like this sketch at the start, but it started looking quite nice here. It actually ended up looking quite nice. Drawing faces that are looking up or down is complicated, especially when you're looking at them from the front. It's hard to draw a face looking up from the front without it looking weird. But I drew this one with a 3/4 view. It turned out pretty good. I just wanted to make an elongated face with a sort of flat looking mouth that didn't stick out from the volume of the face a lot. It's been around 2 weeks since my last upload. Last video I talked about my New Year's resolutions and mentioned uploading more frequently, so here I am, trying to upload every 2 weeks. Videos will be up either the 14th or the 15th of every month, and the 30th or the 31st. Oh, and a lot of things have happened in the last 2 weeks. I've gone to 2 museums on class trips. I've enjoyed a lot. The one we went to the day before yesterday was really neat, and they have amazing exhibitions right now. If you're around or live here, you should go visit the Costa Rican Art Museum. Right now they have works by Francisco Zuniga and Federico Quiros in exhibition, and they're really fucking cool. And I'm really happy that I got to see their work. On a random note, I also had a couple of days where I just watched horror movies for some reason, I don't know. I watched Final Destinations, I watched the Shining, classic movie of The Shining, it was really good. I watched Doctor Sleep, which is like the sequel, and I watched the original Silent Hill movie, which, by the way, really impressed me. All the technical effects, the costumes, the sets, the production, it was wow. It was really good. It was really freaky and just well done. Oh, and Woolhaven came out. So I've started playing it, and I stream it on Twitch when I do, if you want to see what the game looks like. Since I got Cult of the Lamb last year, I've been obsessed with it. I love how crazy the setting and the story is. And the general art style of the game is adorable. I just love it. The colors work so well. I'm actually planning to do a Cult of the Lamb video in a couple of months. It's gonna be a very cool project, but I'm not gonna say what it's gonna be. Oh, and this week I started my TA hours. I'm gonna be working on illustrations for a special short story book written by several old people. You know, it's gonna be stories about their lives. Oof, I am really excited about it. Also really fucking stressed about it. Because I need to do well and I want to do well. You know, it's a paid job. I'm nervous, but I'm really excited. I have a lot of ideas already. Oh, and last week I finally managed to finish the first Mistborn book. I really struggled to get past the first couple hundred pages because it was really lore and exposition heavy, but the story finally picked up around like page 182, and I finally got hooked and devoured the entire thing in a day, pretty much. Yeah, the last like 200 pages are really, really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I almost cried, but I didn't, because I feel like I didn't have enough of a mental image in my mind of what the characters looked like, so I couldn't fully bond with them, but that's okay. I really enjoyed it nevertheless. was no space for another face between the orc and the witch, so I just drew a baby. I think I've only drawn a baby 3 or 4 times. They're kind of hard to get right because they're pudgy, chubby, made up of like squishy cylinders, and their proportions are a lot smaller. Their articulations are hidden under older chubbiness. They're adorable, but they're hard to get right. If you don't get the cylinders to look right, they just kind of end up looking like a mass of bread dough. I think I did okay. Could have done way worse. After all, these were done without references, and the point was to draw completely from his imagination, so the baby could have looked a lot worse. None of the people on the page are human, of course, because this is my fantasy-themed sketchbook, so none of them are human. At least in this page. Well, maybe the girl on the top? I would say she's a witch, maybe a human, but definitely like some sort of witch or something, because I gave her a gem like embedded and crusted into her forehead and some marks around her eyes. Maybe she's a human witch, an elf witch, or a cultist of some kind. I kind of pictured her looking up at the moon. The one beside her, I think maybe they're a fairy or an elf. Could be either, honestly. They give me a non-binary vibe, and they kind of remind me of Peter Pan for some reason. I don't know. Something about that face specifically is just giving me Peter Pan vibes. Why? I don't know. It's just reminding me of the Peter Pan movies. Oh, the one at the bottom is an orc, of course. I wasn't sure what kind of features to give him, but ended up leaning towards animal characteristics. I thought of the orcs from Dunsany while drawing him, so I added sort of a boar nose and tusks, and the ears are kind of built like an animal's. I imagine him having huge shoulders and a short torso, but the perspective looks weird, dude. I was going for a top view, and it looks fine from the head to the collarbone, and then I just kinda lost the plot after that. I always struggle drawing entire bodies from a top view. I gotta practice drawing bodies with perspective. The line art was based on a sketch for a painting that I did 2 years ago in this sketchbook. I had lined the hair like this, following the hair strands, and really liked it. I immediately regretted that line across the bust, but it was too late. Once you put a line down with these, it's never going away. The baby was scary to line. If I fucked up, it would ruin the entire page's look. Had to tell myself it's gonna be fine, probably, and if you fuck up, it's gonna be fine too. Actually, I think the liner maybe fixed the baby a bit, or at least disguised some of the flaws in the sketch. I added fur to hide mistakes, actually. The legs are definitely off, but oh well, at least it's clear it's a baby. I gave the orc a mohawk. I think it suits him. Actually, isn't that an interesting question? Why are orcs bald most of the time? I don't think I've ever seen a depiction of a hairy orc. Oh no, wait, the ones in the Lord of the Rings movie do have hair occasionally, and some of the Uruk-hai do. But that's still only on their head. Well, this is a different variation of an orc. It's closer to a hog than an elf. Shouldn't orcs be more hairy? Why are they so bald? Do they live in like the desert or something? Do they get too hot with hair and that's why they're bald? Why am I pondering on orc biology right now? I think adding piercings and the black sclera to the orc worked super well. Along with the mohawk, gives him a really interesting look. Like it becomes more of a person, you know, instead of just a sketch. It really looks interesting. I wonder what kind of orc society he lives in, but that's for another day. I was pretty nervous about the line art because it only takes a shaky hand to ruin a page, but it turned out okay. I've had 2 very good weeks, and I'll upload again in 2 weeks because I really want to make this work, guys. I'll see you guys later with another video, and if you like what I do or want to see what I might do in the future, which secret here, spoiler, I am definitely working on a very cool Cult of the Lamb project for a future video in honor of the release of Woolhaven, so if you like the game, you might be interested in that. But yeah, if you like what I do or want to see more, subscribe, like, and comment. And have a good day, afternoon, evening, night, wherever it is, whatever you are. And bye!